little snag. I was wondering if you could help me out with my light bill a little bit. And guess what? If you don't have the, and you're ready for this, come under me. If you don't have the integrity to pay it back, don't borrow it. I'm talking to somebody in this room, because the boldness you had to borrow it should be the boldness you have to pay it back. And I shouldn't have to ask you for money that you borrowed from. So in the natural, so in the spirit, God shouldn't have to ask you for the 10th after he gave you a salary you don't deserve. I'm talking to somebody in this room who's here today that says, I'm tithing. Raise your hand if you need of an envelope. Raise your hand. Let's turn this heat down a little bit, please. Turn this heat down a little bit, please. Who's here today that says, I need an envelope? I'm tithing today. I'm tithing. I'm tithing. No, you ready for this? I'm going to say it, Tasha, the way the Lord said, I'm tithing, but I'm not lying. Woo. It's tight. I'm tithing represents your truth, not your lie. Well, Pastor John, it's easy for you to tithe because you got 2 jobs. That means nothing to me. You know why? Because that money, can I talk to some real people in here, Katrina Sellers? That money look real good in your account. But guess what? God can double it if you tithe. So there's a ripping because before there's a reaping. What is God doing? Ripping out the old mentality, the old mindset. Yesterday, my day was filled. You ready for this, woman of God? My day was filled hanging out with people that knew more than me. Am I saying something in this room? I sat with loan inspectors and loan officers and bank officials. I sat with them yesterday and asked them. I wasn't embarrassed. I was asking questions. Sometimes you got to stop hanging out with your crew and hang out with people that's above your crew. Am I saying something in this room here today? You're going to have to go in rooms that's going to intimidate you to grow up. I need to be around people that's going to intimidate me to come up. It don't embarrass me. It makes me better. Am I saying something in this room? Some of us, you ready for this? Some of us come from poverty-stricken families. Some of us come from poor money management mothers and fathers. See, okay, you heard Tyshawn's testimony. You didn't hear Pastor John's testimony. Tamika and I sit right here. We come from a mother who has poor money management. I mean, when I tell you poor, it's poor. You give her money to pay a bill, it's not paid. How is that? You know why? Because we know what it is to be evicted with a padlock on the door. Because my mother was in charge of making sure the rent was paid, only for us to find out, am I making this up, that the rent was not paid. Right after I moved into my first apartment with a 1-bedroom, everybody had to come moving with me. You know what I did? The same day they got evicted was the same day I got fired. What do you do when you got fired and evicted on the same day? See, when I stand up here and talk about tithing, I'm not talking about something I don't know. I'm talking about something I've been through. Only, you ready for this? I'll tell it, God. Only for me to let my mother, my father, my sister, my mother, and Daniel, who was a newborn, come live with me in a 1-bedroom apartment. Am I making this up? Fired, new apartment, family evicted. Does it sound like you should be tithing? No, I want some people that's real in this room. So I didn't tithe. Guess what else I didn't do, Tasha? Guess what else I didn't do, Iris? I did not. I got fired. I collected unemployment, then got a temp job for $13 an hour, and still was getting that check and unemployment. Only for unemployment to find out that I owe them $9,000. You know why? Because I took unemployment check and a temp check and never gave God 10. I said, God, you don't want no 10% when I gotta pay car net, I gotta make sure food in the house, I gotta make sure my family good. No. I know you don't want no 10th. He said, bring the 10th. Yeah, see, y'all think I'm making this up. Y'all think I'm making this up. Only for 2 weeks. This is about 15 years ago. See, I can tell my story because you ain't ready for ministry until you're ready to be transparent. Only for the detectives to call my phone 2 weeks before my birthday and say, Mr. MacArthur, is this you? I said, yes. They said, you have to go to jail because you owe unemployment. See, you in trouble with God. It's bigger than just, I ain't giving my church stuff. It ain't about the church. I had to go I said, my birthday is in 2 weeks. Can we change it? They said, okay, Mr. MacArthur, March. I went to jail. I had to turn myself in because I stole money from the government. Let me help you with something. If you steal it, it's going to catch up to you. What am I telling somebody in this room? You cannot have a job and collect unemployment. That is stealing. I went to jail. I was a little church boy. What I put on, Sean? Black and white, like I was going to a consecration revival. They said, what you in here for, church boy? I said, unemployment. Please. Only for the church. I was in jail for 1 day. The judge came and said, postponed. Had to go back 2 months later. Only for a prepaid attorney. You know why? Because in that month of me waiting for my next court date, I started tithing. I started getting it right with God. Only for me, Tamika, you my sister. I went to court a month later. The judge said, the attorney that's accused, the people that's accusing you ain't here. Case dismissed, no money owed. That was about 10 years, 12. I'm telling this story because I came a long way from lying to God. I came a long ways from lying to God, which means I was lying to myself. So that's why I'm telling you, don't tip them, tithe. Don't put something on it, tithe. Give it to, I'm telling you, God will make sure you eat this week if you tithe. God will make sure your bills are paid if you tithe. God will make sure he'll rebuke the devourer for your name's sake if you tithe. You'll give your last tithing. God will write. Hearing this, Cheyenne? See, if the pulpit would just be more transparent, people would get delivered quickly. I'm talking about real tithing. Who's here today that says I'm tithing? Who's in need of an envelope? Who's in need of an envelope? Say, I'm tithing today. Who's in need of an envelope? Who's in need of an envelope? I'm not lying to God no more. I need to make it right with him. I don't need to make it right with a prophecy. Those of you who are, I'm making it right with God. Who's on my right and my left that's swiping? Who's online today that says, I'm tithing? Shh, shh, come on to me, come on to me. Guess what? We're not just tithing. You know what we're doing? Tithe and offering. Tithe and offering. So guess what? You're not giving just 10%. You're giving 11, 12. And you're not catching. Before you swipe, you ready for this? I'm not tithing off of my net. I'm tithing my gross. Come on. I need this house to be delivered before we play prophecy. This is a word here today. Come. I'm touching and agreeing with you while you tithe, while you're obedient to God. I'm touching and agreeing with you that we will. Only for me, Mark, come play something. Listen. No, I need God to do something for me. I need God to do something for me real good. Who's here today that's not in person, but I'm tithing? I'm sowing a seed. Thank you, woman of God. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, Tawana. God is faithful. God is faithful. Come on. Come on, everybody's tithing. And guess what? Tithing shouldn't be confusing. What are we confused about? I'm tithing. Who's here today that says, I tithe via Cash App? All of your devices. Come on. Thank you. Thank you. Who's here? Malachi 3. Say it, but Malachi 3, verse 8 through 12. In the easy to read version, it says this. You ready? People should not steal things from God. In Him. Listen to what, you ready for this? Listen to what the text said. You ready for this? People, Mark, catch this. People should not steal things from God. I shouldn't, but sometimes I do.